The Cold War, a period of intense geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, lasting from the end of World War II until the early 1990s. A time of shadows and whispers, of secrets and lies. The world was divided, and every corner held a potential threat or ally. The world was a chessboard, with superpowers as players. Each move was calculated, each decision weighed with the utmost care. Each move could tip the balance of power. A single misstep could lead to devastating consequences, altering the course of history. Espionage became an art form. The tools of the trade were sophisticated and ever-evolving, designed to outsmart and outmaneuver the enemy. Spies were the invisible artists. They operated in the shadows, their identities often unknown, even to their closest allies. They moved in the shadows, gathering intelligence, shaping destinies. Their actions could change the fate of nations. Their tools were seduction, betrayal, and deceit. They used charm and cunning to extract secrets, often at great personal risk. The stakes were incredibly high. Every piece of information, every covert operation could mean the difference between peace and war. Failure meant not just professional ruin but potentially global catastrophe. The world watched with bated breath as these silent warriors played their dangerous game. In this dangerous game, Michael Soussoudis emerged as a formidable player. His skills and daring set him apart in the world of espionage. A Ghanaian intelligence officer, his mission would shake the very foundations of American intelligence. His actions reverberated through the corridors of power. His story is one of intrigue, betrayal, and the complex geopolitical dynamics of a world on the brink. It serves as a reminder of the delicate balance of power and the ever-present shadow of conflict. Michael Soussoudis. His name would soon be etched in the annals of Cold War espionage. Born in Ghana, Soussoudis possessed a sharp intellect and an even sharper ambition. He rose through the ranks of Ghana's intelligence service. His skills were undeniable: observation, persuasion, and an uncanny ability to blend in. Soussoudis was a patriot. He believed in his country's future. But Ghana was a pawn in a much larger game. The Cold War was at its peak. The United States and the Soviet Union vied for influence in Africa. Ghana, under the leadership of Jerry Rawlings, found itself caught in the middle. Ghana, a newly independent nation, became a battleground for ideological and strategic control. The United States, wary of Soviet influence, sought to maintain a strong presence in the region. They saw Ghana as a key ally in West Africa. The Soviets, on the other hand, aimed to undermine American hegemony and spread their own sphere of influence. Jerry Rawlings, Ghana's charismatic but controversial leader, walked a tightrope. He sought to maintain Ghana's non-aligned status while navigating the pressures from both superpowers. This delicate balancing act made Ghana a hotbed of espionage. Both sides deployed their best agents, each vying for an edge. The year was 1985. The Cold War was far from over. Michael Soussoudis, now a seasoned operative for the Ghanaian intelligence service, was given a critical assignment. His target, the United States Embassy in Accra. His mission to penetrate the heart of American intelligence gathering in West Africa. Soussoudis was cunning and resourceful. He understood that the key to any successful operation lay in identifying the weak link. He began his surveillance of the embassy. He observed the routines of its employees. He looked for vulnerabilities, for that one chink in the armor that would give him access. Section 5, Sharon Scranage, Love in the Time of Espionage. Sharon Scranage, a young single mother working as a cipher clerk at the U.S. Embassy in Accra, became Soussoudis' target. She was diligent in her work, often staying late to ensure everything was in order. Her dedication did not go unnoticed. Scranage, lonely and vulnerable, was drawn to Soussoudis' charm and charisma. He was a man who seemed to understand her, offering a shoulder to lean on when she needed it the most. He showered her with attention and affection. They would meet in secret, sharing intimate dinners and long walks, where he would listen to her every word. She believed she had found love. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly seen and appreciated. In reality, she had fallen into a carefully constructed trap. Soussoudis was not just a charming suitor, he was a skilled operative with a hidden agenda. Soussoudis played the part of the love-struck suitor to perfection. His every move was calculated, designed to win her trust and affection. He exploited Scranage's loneliness and her desire for companionship. He knew exactly how to make her feel special and valued. He used their relationship to gain access to highly classified information. Scranage, in her love-struck state, began to share sensitive details without realizing the consequences. Scranage, blinded by her feelings, unwittingly became a pawn in Soussoudis' dangerous game. Her actions, driven by love and trust, would have far-reaching implications, affecting not just her life but the security of her nation. Section 6. The leak. The information Scranage provided was devastating. It included the identities of CIA operatives working undercover in Ghana. It revealed details of U.S. intelligence gathering operations. The Ghanaians, in turn, passed this information on to their Soviet allies. The Soviets had struck gold. They now had a direct line into the CIA's operations in a strategically vital region. The CIA, oblivious to the leak, continued its operations. They were unaware that their every move was being monitored, their agents were compromised, their intelligence was being passed on to the enemy. The potential damage was immeasurable. Section 7. The walls close in. The CIA eventually caught on. An internal investigation revealed the extent of the leak. Scranage, now under suspicion, was recalled to Washington, D.C. She was interrogated and confessed to her role in the affair. She provided details about Soussoudis, his methods, and the information he had obtained. The CIA was in crisis mode. They had been thoroughly compromised by one of their own. Heads would roll, but first, they had to deal with Soussoudis. He had become a liability, a loose end that could unravel the entire operation. They had to neutralize him. Section 8. A deal with the devil. Soussoudis, sensing the net closing in, made a daring move. He approached the U.S. Embassy in Accra and offered to defect. He claimed to have valuable information about Ghanaian and Soviet intelligence operations. The CIA, desperate to salvage what they could from the debacle, agreed to a deal. They arranged for Soussoudis to be smuggled out of Ghana with his family. He was flown to the United States, where he was debriefed extensively. The information he provided was invaluable. It gave the CIA a rare glimpse into the inner workings of Ghanaian and Soviet intelligence. Section 9. Fallout and Retribution. The fallout from the Soussoudis affair was swift and brutal. Scranage, charged with espionage, pleaded guilty and served a reduced sentence. 8 Ghanaian citizens working at the U.S. Embassy in Accra were arrested and accused of spying. Relations between the United States and Ghana plummeted. Rawlings, furious at the U.S. actions, expelled 6 American diplomats. The CIA, its reputation tarnished, launched a major internal review. Security procedures were tightened, background checks were intensified. The agency was determined to prevent another such disaster. Section 10. The Spy Who Went Home. This is the story of Michael Soussoudis, a man who navigated the perilous waters of international espionage during the height of the Cold War. Soussoudis, having provided the CIA with valuable intelligence, was granted immunity from prosecution. His information was crucial in the intricate dance of espionage between the superpowers. He lived in the United States for several years under an assumed identity. This new life was a stark contrast to his previous existence, filled with secrecy and danger. However, he yearned to return to his homeland. The pull of his roots and the memories of his past were too strong to ignore. In 1998, after more than a decade in exile, Soussoudis was allowed to return to Ghana. The decision marked the end of a long period of uncertainty and longing. He received a hero's welcome. The people of Ghana celebrated his return, recognizing the sacrifices he had made. Upon his return, Soussoudis maintained a low profile. He chose to live quietly, blending into the fabric of everyday life in Ghana. He rarely spoke about his past. The experiences he had gone through were too complex and dangerous to share openly. He had played a dangerous game on the world stage and emerged a survivor. The risks he took were immense and the stakes were life and death. His story remained a cautionary tale about the treacherous world of espionage and the human cost of Cold War rivalries. The legacy of his actions serves as a reminder of the personal sacrifices made by those involved in the shadowy world of intelligence. Section 11. The Legacy of a Scandal. The Michael Soussoudis spy scandal left an enduring mark on the landscape of Cold War espionage. It highlighted the vulnerability of even the most powerful intelligence agencies to human weakness and betrayal. It exposed the high-stakes gamesmanship between superpowers, played out in the shadows of developing nations. Today, the story of Michael Soussoudis serves as a reminder of a bygone era. An era when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear annihilation. An era when spies like Soussoudis operated in the shadows, their actions shaping the destiny of nations.